2013 is the third installment in Project 12, which, as you know, is where I aim to release an EP every single month this year. Every EP consists of about 5 to 6 songs, and so far it's going pretty well. Yet 2013 was about a very, very chaotic, tumultuous year of my life, where on one hand I was battling with the struggles of owning your own startup, onboarding way too many clients, way more than you can handle, trying to finish all these projects, falling behind. On the other hand, I had friends and a lot of partying and crazy stuff going on, and this whole year just basically led to a lot of burnout towards the end, which was partially the reason why I ended up moving to Belgium in 2014. The aim of this video is to show you some of the song sketches that I made back then, these little videos showcasing ideas for songs and how they eventually ended up in the EP. Alright, let's check them out. So this is the original version of the track called Wind Me, Wind Me. I had my tiny drum set in the background. The style has changed so much. This is the version how it ended up in the EP. There is literally like 3 acoustic guitars side by side. So we have, and then, so one is panning slightly to the left, one slightly to the right, and one in the center, and then you have the bass. That's this bass over here. And there's even this solo section that I added. I think the biggest change were the vocals, where I went for a grungier style of voice for this EP, and I probably should have tried to keep it a bit closer to the original. I think it worked better with that song, but this is how it sounds like. I keep finding worse ways to. So it's much raspier, right? But you're working with acoustic guitars, right? And I just don't know if I had to go with that vibe. So that's why I put it a bit later on in the EP, because it's probably not for everyone, right? This one is called You Do Work. It used to be called Finanzas, but I ended up renaming it last minute to You Do Work because I just say that phrase so much during it. Check out the poster in the background. I used to love that. Oh man, I can't remember the artist for these, but I used to have a few of their prints. And this is how it ended up in the EP.
You wake up, you do work, you go out, you do work.
I think I managed to encapsulate a bit better the original style in this song at least. So I don't know. I was a bit more proud of how this one ended up. I usually manage to record about 5 to 6 songs per month, which doesn't sound like that much, but I think it's partially due to the process that I've been following for these EPs, where I'll record a first version or a draft of each song where it's just the drums and a very rough sketch of the guitar and bass and maybe even the vocals. Then I'll refine it to add the sections, then I'll write the lyrics, but before even going back to the vocals, I'll go back every single song again and do the guitars, and then back again to the start and do the bass, and then back again and do the actual vocals, and then back again and do the mixing, every single song at a time. And the problem with this approach is that I'm having to relearn each song every single time, right? If you're working concurrently on 6 songs, it's very hard to keep all these in your mind. So you'll do changes to the 6th one, and then you'll come back to the first one, which maybe you haven't touched for a week or something, and that's like, oh, how did this go again? You have to check the original video, relearn the chords, and then try to nail it again, right? So it's a lot more complicated than it seemed. I think maybe for the next EPs, I'll just try to nail one song in one go, then the next one. The only problem is it can get a bit overwhelming when you're listening listening to the same song over and over, then recording a bit, then changing little things, then improve. It's so much like on one song. Sometimes it helps to jump between them, but on the other hand, it leads to this issue where if you're working on 6 of them concurrently, you feel like you're just nitpicking at tiny changes in each song until you manage to finish them all towards the end, right? It's like the last 3-4 days of the month, and I'm like, man, I need to rush this out. And then you're trying to struggle to get all of these songs, EP ready, like release ready, right? And it is a bit of a struggle, but maybe we'll switch things up in the next EPs to see if we can improve this process somewhat. So I think what we're going to do now is I'm going to grab one of these songs. I'll show you how it started and then how we went through the recording process. I'll show you the DAW, how the tracks look like, the effects that I'm using and everything else. I won't do a full breakdown of the process. I think what I'll do is I'll make a separate video where I walk you through the chains that I'm using for each track, so you get to see like how I do the drums, like what effects I'm using, the bass, the guitar, the vocal chain as well. All of those things might be quite interesting, but it should be a completely different video. What I want to do this time is just one of the songs for the EP, just show you kind of like how I work through the process. So this is the sketch for the track All Downhill From Here, which is probably my favorite one in this EP because it has such a different undertone. It's got like a kind of Latin, maybe a slightly bossa nova groove to it, which I hope comes across a bit, at least slightly in the EP, because I still had to bring it back to the general style of all the other songs that I was recording, right?
The extra league, where am I? It's all downhill from here.
And you can see basically I try whenever possible to grab at least one of the phrases from the original sketch and then use that as the inspiration for the rest of the lyrics, even though I don't end up using most of the lyrics. A lot of these sketches I'm just singing gibberish. I'm literally just coming up with random phrases when I'm writing them, and then it's not until now that I think, okay, let's grab the interesting parts and then try to write something around that, maybe also talking a bit about what I was going through at the time or any situations that happened that year or stuff like that. So it starts off with this reverse section. And basically these are just random parts from the song that I found kind of work together when reversed and kind of forming this type of intro before the intro, because in this intro we don't actually have vocal, we just have this guitar that is playing behind. And you can hear the rhythm as well, right? But then in the verse, we bring in the vocals, and I think I'm introducing... Oh no shaker yet. What I did do is, you'll notice in the bass over here, there is no bass at all in the first half of the song. So I thought that would make it slightly more unique, having that approach, right? So let's listen to the verse.
Who knew this river would run dry? We've been all over town and reached the...
That is where we introduce the I overuse these shakers probably, but it's just so much fun. And then the chorus sounds like this.
And I've been rolling in my grave, thinking what could have done in the moment that could have lived.
We've got all of these vocal layers for this part. So we've got the main vocals over here, and then we've got all of these panned. So if I just solo these ones, you can hear... or this part. So just trying to stack harmonies there. I could have gone way crazier and have like 10 or more tracks for this to create more ambiance or something, right? Or like a grandiose sound. But you have to deal with the time that you have. And then we have the piano section, which I also really liked. I'm using this piano 5 from Arturia. You'll notice also the velocity curve, I really push it up over here to kind of accentuate it a bit more, all those lighter notes. And this is combined with this, with a vital synth that we have behind the scenes. Like, it's just kind of in the background of everything. Like if we zoom out and play the whole thing. But if I remove it, like It is so far in the background, but it still adds something to it. It's like a texture in general, right? So that's why, yeah, it's very fun to add all of these background sounds that you might not notice, especially if you're not wearing headphones or if you're not using like proper speakers and stuff. If you're just playing it on the phone, it might not come across. So these are the types of little tiny things that I like to hide dotted around the songs that kind of just give it a bit more life. So if you listen to it on a different medium or on a different phone or device or whatnot, then you can find all of these hidden elements that suddenly start to emerge a bit more when you pay attention to the song, right? But yeah, hopefully this gives you an idea of why sometimes these songs take so long to produce. Like, that is also a big problem. I hate this because I say, oh, I'm just gonna churn out these songs, just kind of try to get more practice delivering things fast, and then you start like you get so into it that you start nitpicking, you start working on all those tiny little things until it sounds like you want to, and it takes so much time in the end. Anyway, 2013 is out now. You can find it at lemiffe.com/2013. I think mostly I like the first 2 songs from the EP. That's the problem with this style of recording. Sometimes there's not enough time in a month to refine weaker songs, like tune them, find things that make them stand out a bit more, but I still need to publish one of these every single month to carry on with this project, right? So yeah, feel free to have a listen. Let me know what you think about it, and yeah, enjoy the EP, and I'll catch you in the next one.